conversation. Super excited to have you both. You guys, you're in for a treat. I don't know how many of you know or have interacted with the Trimble team. They are rock stars here in Lake Country, and you wouldn't know that a thing happened given their business just kept going, and they transitioned really seamlessly from face-to-face to those restrictive protocols that Peter and I were just talking about, to full-on online, and how do you support your clients that way. So knowing that, as we look at the things that we're learning from this pandemic and what will stay with us long-term, I think that we will go back to showing face-to-face, and yet there will always be, now that we have this tool, this online and virtual tool, it's something that we can be using and to our advantage, really. So for the back half of this pandemic that we're in right now, and for future uses, we certainly wanted to have the opportunity to talk with this Rockstar team about how they made this transition and what they do to make virtual open houses and showings work really well for their clients. So thank you guys for your time today. I'm going to hand this over to our Trimble team representatives and let them dig into what matters most. So thank you guys for being here, and take it away, you guys.
Okay, well, first of all, I just want to say that we're not necessarily rock stars, we're just lifelong learners. And so that I would say, one of the things that we've had to learn, because before all of this, even though I was trying to coach my agents to get more comfortable being on camera and doing things that way, we're kind of a little bit of a humble, resistant to that. None of us really want to be doing that, but we just had to learn to get over ourselves. Just get over it. Just do it. Get over hearing your voice. Get over seeing yourself. Just have fun. Be yourself. Have fun. Let your personality kind of shine through, and don't worry so much about being perfect, being right, any of that. Like, we just leaned right into it, and we've been learning as we're going. And, the best advice is the more you do it, the better you get at it, the more confident you become, and the more confident you are, it just kind of works that way. So it's been interesting, so to say the least. But I like what you say, Diana, about, that I think a lot of this technology obviously I'm from the business world. I'm part of Team Trimble and been the business operations manager for Team Trimble for, going on 5 years now, but I come from a corporate background. And in that corporate background, Zoom calls and all kinds of virtual things, shared meetings, presentations, all of that stuff was happening on a very regular basis. So can you hear me? It just said my internet.
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, you're great.
So a lot of the tools that we're now kind of making use of, have been around for a long time. It's just now people are more, our industry is taking advantage of it. And I think also our audience, or our clients or customers, if you will, are more agreeable to it. So that's been a good thing. And I think there's definitely some things that we've learned along the way that will keep with us as we move forward. And, I think we'll all go back to doing business face-to-face. We are a relational team first and foremost. I think that's kind of like one of the things that we do so well. But, how do we come across authentically on video and those kinds of things? And when we need to, and we can't show a property in person, we can do something virtually, and just kind of, add it into our tools of things that we offer to, the folks that we're dealing with, whether it's on the sell or buy side. So that's been good. I'm going to say, we're not going to profess to be the experts here. I'm just saying that we definitely have tried to lean into this. So if there's anyone that's on the call, if you want to say anything, you want to add anything, if there's something that you've done that you found to be successful, better, or different, please just everyone chime in. That's one of the things that I love about this Keller Williams culture, is the idea of masterminding and learning from each other. So
Awesome.
I am going to share my screen, though. I did create a quick little, it's just It's nothing special, but it is like a little PowerPoint just to show you, kind of just to use, I'm using it as kind of a tool to also walk through kind of what we've done. So let's see, we'll go here. Let me get everyone out of here so I can actually see my screen. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, so what we've done is starting, I think we're on, this week was maybe our 4th or 5th week that we started to kind of lean into what was happening in with the COVID-19 and not being able to do so many things. So we started this thing called Tuesdays with Team Trimble. And we had a couple of things that we kind of packaged up with that, and they were where we developed a graphic with market updates using things that we would pull from Waukesha County, which is obviously where we are, as well as from the team meetings that Charlie and the leaders have been putting before us, and his ability to kind of, I guess, go through the data and make it usable and user friendly so that we can share it, I think has been proven to be like invaluable to us. And we've really taken that and kind of moved that forward too. So that's been awesome. We also were doing some healthcare meal deliveries as a part of this. And we incorporated that into our Tuesdays with Team Trimble as well, just to let people know that we're out in our communities and that we are thankful for, those healthcare workers who were working on the front lines, and we wanted to just offer something to give back to them. And so we incorporated that as well. And then when the Tuesdays with Team Trimbles, we were kind of doing it in place of what was traditionally like the Brokers Opens. I mean, I think over the years, Brokers Opens are not always very highly attended, but depends on the day and the time and all of that other stuff and what everyone has going on. But we just decided to kind of highlight 2 of our listings each week. And we would do it whether they were new to market, whether they were had taken, a price improvement, or we just wanted to kind of get them back in front of people. We would just pick 2 of our listings, and Katie would go to one and Karen would go to the other, and we would highlight them. And then we would, I was Command Central, and I would record our entire Zoom call, and then I would post it on social media. And then the second thing that we did, which we literally just did our first one yesterday, is the virtual open house, which is very different, where we have a specific date and time that the open house is held. Input it into the MLS, it parses to Zillow, and then I recorded that, and then I would post that on social media afterward as well. So I was going to just take you through a couple of the elements that we created.
Before we go there, Kathy, can I just jump in real quick? On the screen that you just shared, I think one thing that's really, I think one of the things that you guys do that you just do naturally, but it's important to call out, is that even in looking at this list, you have a nice marriage of the virtual or digital experience and the face-to-face. Like your face-to-face remains pretty critical, and you've stayed very active in the community with your healthcare meal deliveries. You've been not only doing that and fully safe with the masks and the gloves and the right way the people are saying that we need to be taking care of ourselves to do that, but you're also marketing that on Facebook to get leverage out of that as well. And I think that one of the things that's that you do super successfully is marry the opportunity that you have digitally and make it come alive in the day-to-day physical world. So I just wanted to share that. I think that's one of the successes of your digital experience, is that it's not wholly digital. It is underscored by a physical action.
Yeah, well, thanks. And one of the things, like with the healthcare meal delivery, so what we did was, we picked Tuesdays. We got this whole like alliteration going thing on. So Tuesdays with Team Trimble and Taco Tuesdays. So we were just trying to like riff off all of that. And with the meals, we actually partnered with Taco Amigo, which is in Waukesha. Katie, I don't know exactly where they're located. And then also the Pink Mocha, 2 local businesses that obviously were doing takeout, but just trying to support the local businesses. So, it's kind of like an end-to-end giving back, so we're providing the meals to the healthcare workers. at the same time trying to support local businesses who have been shut down and only offering, you know, takeout business. And I can't even remember exactly where the Taco Amigo like thing came from. Like when Karen first started showing up there, like the first time we got like 30 meals, they're like, oh yeah, thank you so much for doing it. And then the next time we showed up again and they're like, oh my gosh, like, what are you guys doing? You're amazing. Like, we don't even really know you that well, you know? And so it was super sweet and it was really very organic. I mean, I'm going to tell you, this is not something that we sat and planned for hours. It was just like, you know, one of our things is, you know, love and live in Lake Country. And I feel like we try to be super authentic and also be nimble and quick and just make decisions and move. And so that was one of those things that just really came out of like a desire to give back because, you know, we work in the community in which we live and we love Lake Country. So just to kind of build on that a little bit.
Awesome. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions? Feel free to jump in.
I think, Kathy.
Yeah.
You might be getting to that on the next slide. I guess I was just wondering, were these mostly advertised or promoted like on your social media, all of the items on your first slide?
Yeah, so so this stuff on the Tuesdays with Team Trimble, we were, yes, just doing it exclusively on social media.
Okay.
On the open house, we did email blast on that as well to agents.
And then you're highlighting 2 of your listings a week. That was
yes.
like in person
Yes.
little walkthroughs or something?
Yeah, so I'll show you, I actually was gonna pop over on our Facebook page and show you kind of, just go to that spot and show you what we were doing. But yeah, so what we would do is, Kate, like we would pick the 2 listings and then Katie Thomas would go to one of the listings and Karen Trimble would go to the other listing, and then they would come on Zoom using their phones, and then I would be kind of the command central managing everything from my little hub, and then, you know, hit record, and then we would do some, you know, kind of teeing it up with some conversation. And one of the things we did here was we tried to brand all of this, and again, nothing about this that was super overthought or anything. We just started throwing stuff together and just trying to be, you know, create something from it so that people would start to see it and expect it and know what it was. So we created this Tuesdays with Team Trimble graphic that is like a market update, tours, and then conversations. So, because that's kind of how we are. So we like to lead with, we like to think that we have a perfect blend of business savvy and then personal relationships. That's kind of how we run our business. So leading with the data, both with the market update information that Charlie was giving to us in the sales meetings on Tuesdays, as well as we were pulling specific Waukesha County data from the MLS, and we would have conversations around both of those things. So we did this, like I said, this Tuesdays with Team Trimble that I just created in Canva, which is like my new best friend. And I know that Command has it in designs as well, but I've been using Command for the last several years, and I've just stayed in there for the most part just because I'm so comfortable with it and it's user-friendly. And we've had to move so quickly through so many things. I have used designs in Command, but this is where my bread and butter is still in Canva. So we created that, and then we created the graphic, How's the Market? And again, with the Waukesha County information, we would have the new listings, accepted offers, sold and closings, and pendings and contingencies. And then Katie Thomas would pull that data for me Tuesday mornings. And then I just took that graphic and dropped the new numbers in. And so it was super easy, just kept it as a template. And then the other thing that we had done was just, I wanted to show you that as soon as things started to really turn and things were shut down, we didn't want to shut down as a business. We wanted, you know, the people to know that we were still open for business and that we were considered a part of, you know, an essential business, but that we were going to do things safely. So this is just one of those graphics that we created that was letting people know that, you know, we'd gone virtual and that everything that we could do online and do virtually, that we were doing that.
Thanks.
And let's see. So then here is again, I just grabbed some screenshots of things. So like I said, the agents would go to the homes on Tuesdays. We would all jump on the Zoom call. I would record it. Then I would, after I recorded it, I would drop it into iMovie and trim it so that, you know, just in case there were some things in there that we didn't necessarily want to have, like out in the public domain, we would pull that off, or at the very beginning, if we were recording and just weren't like on task just yet, I would just trim that. We also created landing pages for our listings in Command, which we have been using a ton. We would have those created, and we would link to the landing pages on the posts so that people could go to the actual website and see, you know, everything they could about that property. And then, like I said, delivering those healthcare things. So we would take those photos and drop them into the post as well. So I'm going to show you, let's see. Sorry, I'm just going to have to scroll here for a second.
Oh, good.
And Kathy will let us know when it's posted so we can share it on our personal pages. Like, hey ladies, just posted our whatever on Team Trimble's page. Please share. So, you know, wait till like 5 p.m. or 8 p.m. when people are looking and try and guess when the best
You guys
time.
are really, really intentional about getting the word out about what you're doing. I love that. It's not, you're just leaving it to chance. It's, we're connecting, we have a communication. Although I don't think you guys will call it a communication plan. It is a communication plan about how you're getting the word out about your team and the team's activities.
Right. Yeah. And that's, like I said, but one of the things that I guess what I would encourage people is that we didn't have it all figured out. We certainly have made some mistakes, and we've tried to get better every week.
Right.
So,
my phone was turned the wrong way for one day.
yeah, like this one.
You know, yeah.
Right.
I love that. I love that.
You know, it's too long. You guys are talking too much.
Right. Right.
So do the market update right away. Kathy does that. So that important information. And then if they want to drop off, they drop off. But they see that we're busy and working, and that we're not waiting for something to change, because, you know, we just have to keep moving forward as well as we can.
Right.
So can I ask a question?
Sure. Go right ahead.
So you are, this is a recorded Zoom call that you're announcing in MLS.
Okay, so wait a minute. So no. Okay, so I'm getting there. So this right now, what we're doing right here is that where we just created basically our own virtual open house, but it was like on demand, you know, so we just got together and we did not post anything in MLS at all for this Tuesdays with Team Trimble. I'm just trying to get to that so I can show you the difference. Sorry,
That's okay. You guys learn so much. It's just trying to keep up. So the one thing is that, like, kind of the virtual open house on demand, and you guys took particular care to be consistent about that on Tuesdays.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And now this is your newest thing that you just did, this virtual open house.
Right. So let me show you real quick. So I was going to show, so yeah, so this was just where we branded this as Tuesdays with Team Trimble. We would just post it on social media, and it wasn't posted in MLS at all. It was just a way for us to highlight, you know, 2 listings a week and bring the market information and share what we were doing. And it wasn't like a so we do have on a lot of our listings, we'll have, like, you know, the virtual tour. This was where we were just highlighting specific things about a home. So it wasn't, we weren't walking through the house and doing a full-on tour. It was more like, you know, here's the things that we love about this house, and if it had taken a price reduction or something, you know, remarkable or that we wanted to highlight, we were talking about that. We tried to make this Zoom call, you know, I think I had like 7 minutes or less, and each of the highlights of the houses was, like I said, just a few different rooms, maybe some things that, and then we would have and then actually Katie, Karen, and I would be having a conversation. I'd be like, wait a minute, show me that. Isn't there like a screen-in porch there, like in that backyard? You know, go there, like show it to them there. You know, like we were trying to be super conversational about it too. So kind of our personality would come through in the way that we work together. And we were making fun of each other and laughing. I'd be like, Katie, turn your phone is the wrong way. Or Karen, I can't hear you. Like, you need to get a new phone. Your screen is cracked. You know, like just being funny.
and personal at the same time. I love it.
Right. Okay, so that was that. And then this here, this virtual open house is what we did yesterday. So, you know, I know that it's been available for, I think, at least for the last few weeks from Zillow and MLS, but I finally was able to kind of dig into it and figure out actually how to do it. So one of our listings, well, first of all, a few of our listings are unoccupied right now. So it makes it super easy for us to do this kind of thing without, you know, putting any of our sellers out or putting anyone at risk. So that has been a benefit for us to be able to do this type of stuff and experiment with it. So I will say that, I mean, if you have a listing where you have it occupied, obviously you just need to take your necessary precautions as far as, you know, being in there and doing stuff. But so within the virtual open house, this is actually where you enter it into the MLS, and then you have to create, you know, you can do it either with a Zoom meeting or you can do it on Facebook Live. We did it yesterday and we did it as a Zoom meeting just because that's what we've been doing. I'd like to maybe try doing a Facebook Live in the future, but we're not as comfortable in that format, and because we hadn't done it before, I didn't want to risk everything, so we did it as a Zoom meeting. And then basically at the time of the open house, so just like as if you were doing an open house in the home, it goes live. The Zoom meeting opens up and people start entering the room, and then you just start doing your open house. So I thought I would show you, I mean, I'm assuming a lot of you are proficient within MLS, but I thought I would just show you where this is. So this is the Laurel Circle. This is the one that we just did. So on the back end here, when I go into open house, you can now choose virtual or, oh, actually, well, it still just says virtual. So obviously Wisconsin still doesn't allow, right, the in-person open houses.
Right.
Right. So virtual open house, and then basically here is where you would put in the link to your Zoom call. Now, what we did is we upgraded to the Pro account, and with the Pro account, you can actually get a personal meeting room. And with the personal meeting room, I'm not sure if it's changing or not, but with the personal meeting room, you don't have to require a password. So people can just click on it and not have it password protected. And because we were doing it for the first time and we weren't really sure, we wanted to have as few obstacles as possible for people to jump on and get into the room and begin the open house. So we just have, like I said, have that personal meeting room, and that's the link that I posted there. And then I just opened up the room like a few minutes before the open house to start letting people in. And then the other thing is with the MLS, in the open MLS, you put it the virtual open house there, and then Zillow supposedly, now I can't verify that this actually worked because I was on the call and it comes and goes, and I have an email into Zillow to see if it picked it up and if we did it correctly and how far in advance you actually have to post it this way in order for Zillow to pick it up. But if you go into your public remarks in your listing, at the very end, can you all see this? Where there's like a little copy that you put in there that if you put it in properly, supposedly Zillow will pick it up, because typically Zillow doesn't allow you to put a link in your remarks. They remove it when they see it within Zillow. So it has to be this format. It's like hashtag, and I can send this for anyone who's interested. I have this and I can send it to you, but you could also, it's just available on Zillow, but I'm happy, since I've already got it, I'm happy to just send it to anyone who's interested as a PDF. But you have to put hashtag virtual open house, and then you put in the link to the room, and then you have to put the date in this date format, you know. And
Kathy, that's not coming. What we're looking at is a blank comment screen right now.
Oh.
It's the open house screen, but the comment section is blank. Is there maybe a next slide that we should be seeing, or?
Oh, can you not see my, hold on a second, sorry.
That's okay.
Were you able to see my, this thing? Are you able to see this?
We're seeing this. We're seeing a slide on your PowerPoint presentation that says open house, new open house entry. It has the virtual selection, but then when you go lower, the comment section is blank.
At the bottom, it says in public remarks, hashtag. Do you see that, Diana?
That's where I am, over
Oh,
here.
there we go. Me. It's my problem. Keep going. You're doing great.
Okay, no, I'm glad. Is everyone else able to see this? I just want to make sure.
Could have been your lovely faces were covering it for me. So
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah.
no worries. No worries.
Yeah, so you have to put it in this public remarks, and it has to be in this format, you know, hashtag virtual open house, and then the web link, and then the date. And again, it has to be all in this format, and then supposedly that's when it's put in that format, then Zillow is able to parse that, and then it shows up as a virtual open house in Zillow. Now, like I said, I can't confirm that when we did it, it actually worked, because it's just like any other open house. Zillow treats it like anything that has come and gone. So once the time passes, it's no longer available. Like you can't see it anymore. So I sent them an email, Zillow, just to say, by the way, did this work? Did I do it properly? But I haven't heard back yet. So I'll let you know if there's any new and improved way that you're supposed to do it. And I'd asked them like the time frame, like, does it have to be done 24 hours in advance, 48 hours in advance? You know, how long does it take for it to pick it up and to matriculate it out into Zillow so that it shows up as a virtual open house? So I'll let you know as soon as I hear back from them.
Awesome.
Okay. And then, and I really think
you did post that we were doing it too. So if it didn't show up on Zillow, like I think the only people that showed up were agents that might have, you know, you sent out a thing that we were doing a virtual open house.
Right.
So that they might have learned about it that way.
Correct. And I did, right. So, and I sent out, right, I posted it on all the social media, and then I also sent it out as an email blast to all of the agents in Lake Country. So again, we'll get better at it. I mean, as we move forward, I would send it out to more people and to potential potential customers and that kind of thing. But just to try for the first time, that's what we did.
Yeah, you marketed it like you would a physical open house. You got the word out just like you would.
Right. And it was really fun. Like Janine Werner came in, and Jay Schmidt came in, and I think Amanda was there. I don't know who all is here, but I think Amanda came in. So, you know, we're all just trying to learn from each other, and, you know, just seeing for the first time, like, okay, well, how do you do this? How does this work? And I had gone to, if you look in MLS, actually, I don't mean to, like, if people already know how to do all this, I'm not trying to be like talking down to anyone, but like if you go into, where is it? Tour open houses. Oops, sorry. If you just put in the time frame onto this week, so then you can see all the people that are doing virtual open houses.
Are you sharing that?
We can't see what you're sharing this time.
Oh, you can't? Okay. Let's see.
While you're doing that, I just wanted to say, like, I really appreciated the realness of the open house, and like, it wasn't scripted, it was natural, it was, you know, it was real. So that made it a little less intimidating for my team to try. So thank you for being the guinea pigs, right?
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm going to try start screen sharing again. And we learned, you know, there's things that now can you see?
Yeah, perfect.
I don't know what I stopped sharing and started sharing again. I'm not sure what happened.
You got it. Nice.
But, you know, again, it's like, I think that.
Now, how did you get to this screen?
Okay, so this is, if you go under your main, you go here, and then you just click in your dates, and then you go here, you can see all the virtual open houses that are going to be held, like what the days, and again, like, so for example, like if you click on here, this is it's nothing, you'll get to nothing. Maybe, hopefully you guys can get through. Like it'll be like a Zoom meeting that's not available yet. So it's definitely just like a time and place. Like it's like a real open house, and then it goes away. So, and it looks like, well, I can't really tell. It looks like most of the people are doing Zoom calls versus Facebook Live. And I know that Facebook Live is probably an option. I just don't know how to do it yet. So I can't, I'll try to figure it out and let you know once I figure it out. But I had gone on, so over this past weekend before we did ours, I actually jumped on someone that was doing their virtual open house, and what I think, like, it was, and usually it's like a 30-minute time frame, so you don't need that much time, right? So it's like 30 minutes. And when I jumped on with that agent, I had no idea who he was. I didn't even know the property. It was like a 2-family or something. I just decided to jump on. And you know, he was kind of addressing people as they were coming in. He was walking through the house, you know, doing it, like really interacting as if I were there in person. But I was also the only other person that was on the call. Someone had just left the call before I came on, so he was able to do that. So I think some of this, you just kind of have to wing it. Like if you have a lot of people on in the beginning, you could do, you know, a walkthrough, and then as new people are coming on, you could welcome them and ask for questions and ask if anyone has anything specific they want to know and that kind of thing. Like I saw Kathy Shaw, you know, she's doing hers on her Facebook Live. And, you know, she does, you know, things about obviously the community and all those other things as well as the tour. So there's so many different ways. I mean, the only thing different about this is this is like a real open house. It has a beginning time and an end time and a date. And that's that.
Hey, Kathy, we had a question. Karen Spinty is asking, are you getting the URL when you schedule the Zoom meeting?
Do that again, I'm sorry.
When you schedule the Zoom open house, are you getting the URL too? So you can, I'm assuming, yeah. And Karen, maybe feel free to expand on this, but is that to promote that? Karen, is that your question?
So.
Yep, great, good, okay. So you have a meeting that you can be sharing out, not just through the open house forum and MLS.
Right, so then what we're doing is, sorry, now I'm gonna go back over here. So you guys know that like when, like this call even, I'm sure Diana is recording it, right?
Yep, yep.
But so basically when you're, and that's why it was important for me, like, so it's kind of hard to do this like without like another person helping you, because like I was command central, and then I had my agents at the open house, and I would record it. And then from there, I would edit it in iMovie just to take out like any of the stuff that wasn't necessary to be in there. And then I actually also would, in iMovie, I would put like a front, like I would put like a title page, and I would put something at the back as well. Just grab those, create those in Canva, and then drop them into iMovie. And actually, I might be able to show you that. Which one I did, sorry.
Kathy, that's the first time I've heard about using iMovie with this. I think that's really creative and frankly genius.
Well, I don't know if it's genius.
You know of any editing for not like Macs?
Say that again.
iMovie would be just obviously for Macs, right? Do you know of any editing programs for the PC? PCs?
Oh yeah, you know what? Sorry, I'm a Mac girl.
That's okay.
I was just going to show you because you'll see. Oh crap! Sorry. Oops, sorry. I didn't mean to say that.
We'll edit it out in iMovie.
That's right.
Okay, yeah. So with this one, I'm trying to think. So here we are, just being silly, you know.
We can't feel. We can't. We're
Right.
not with. We're still back up.
Reshare your screen. Yeah, reshare your screen. We're looking at the open houses still.
I don't know why that keeps sharing and unsharing.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm just gonna share this again.
There we go. Oh, and there's Karen.
There's Karen.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, and then like I said, we would do a market update, and then I would have the links to the landing pages you know, so that people could see those. And then I was just trying to find, I think, well, I won't be able to, but basically with that combos with Team Trimble, I took that graphic and I just dropped it on the front end of iMovie. Can you guys still see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. And then on the back end, I did a little, you know, like trailer that said for more information, call Team Trimble or something. So it wasn't just the raw video. It kind of had a beginning and an end. So, so I don't know if any, oh, then I was going to show you in Zillow real quick. And hopefully, can you see my Zillow screen or do I have to share and unshare?
Share and unshare again. It looks like you're still on.
I have no idea why it's doing that to me. Every time I move to a different, like.
Right.
But
When you share your screen, there's options to share a window or to share your entire screen. That could be it.
thank you. That has to be Lindsay, or Amanda, who was
That's
that?
Amanda. Yeah. She knows, she's the tech guru. She knows everything.
Exactly. Okay, so like in, and so the question, so this is the back end of our listing. So when I thought that it would parse it and pull it, but then when I went in, I didn't really see it. So I just physically went into our description and added it. I left it here just so that you guys could see it. I mean, technically they say that they remove anything that's a link if you put it into the description, but obviously it's still there. And I said, are we supposed to be putting in, like, so we all know that like MLS, Zillow pulls from our MLS and it pulls the open house data into Zillow. Every once in a while, like usually it happens pretty seamlessly and it happens rather quickly. Every once in a while, there's a delay and I would go, so this is pre-COVID-19, I would go in and add the open house myself. And then I would know, so let's just say we had a new listing that came live on Thursday or Friday and we wanted to be able to promote it and put it out in the Zillow sphere and having the open house weekend, like Saturday and Sunday, but it wasn't being picked up on by Zillow yet. You can go in and hard enter your open house date and then eventually it will get overwritten by the feed, but that's a way that you can get it in there like immediately. So I didn't know. I'm like, okay, well, it's not showing the open house. It's not pulling from the MLS. So for in this virtual open house, I'm like, okay, it's not pulling from the MLS. So I went in and put it in, you know, I hard entered it there. And then I put the link in here. I don't know if it worked or not at all. So I'll let you know as soon as I hear from Zillow.
Do you need
That's that never-ending learning mindset.
Do you need a Premier Zillow account to be able to do like what you just showed us on that screen?
Nope.
Okay.
That's available as far as I know. I'm going to figure out this thing. I'm looking at, let's see. Yeah, this was just in the Zillow Helps Him. I think that they made this available for everyone. It is now possible, this is 21 days ago. I'm just reading the article that had come out. It is now possible to promote a link on your Zillow listing for virtual open houses. This can be done through your MLS's remarks or property description field. So you obviously, like the MLS in Milwaukee allows you to do that, but your local MLS has to allow you to do it in order for this to work. So the good news is that our MLS allows it. So, and then you just have to follow this protocol and put it in the description the way that I showed you, and then I can send you this link as well too, so that you can see this. The only thing it doesn't say on here is like how far in advance you need to post it in MLS so that it has time to manipulate out to Zillow. And if it doesn't do that, is there a workaround? So that's all I have. If anyone else has any other questions.
Kathy, this has been super, super helpful. And obviously you guys have mastered both, well, you are mastering, and I love that. That's one of the best practices, I think, is to keep evolving your practice, right? And learn how to do things best. One of the things I heard was that it's super helpful to have a partner to help you run some of the technical pieces while you're doing the showing and being out there and available to your clients. What other questions or observations did you guys have that would share? Yeah, Peter.
So when you're doing this, you know who's coming into the Zoom meeting?
Well, so yes, so it's just
I'm asking for, so if you could follow up with those people, maybe
Correct.
capture some information.
Right. So you could do it as where they have to register. I did. So there was one open house like that I had attended, a virtual one like this past weekend, that required you to register. And so then they had my information, and then I was able to enter the virtual open house at the time and date of the open house. Now, like I said, I chose this time because I wanted just to see how many people would actually even come. And we did it pretty quickly. Like, we didn't promote it a ton in advance, and it wasn't over the weekend. It was like on a Tuesday. So I was trying to remove as many obstacles as possible. So I had no registration required and no password required, but I did have their names. So it's just like, if anytime you're hosting a Zoom call, like I can see, you know, everyone who's in the room. So you could, and if you're recording it too, which you should record it just so you can learn too, like what you, like maybe where you could improve, then you have their names too, and you can just maybe try to do some reconnaissance and find them, like on Facebook or other ways that you normally would do that.
Thank you.
Sure.
Can I circle back? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Dan, it's Amanda again, surprise. I was just wondering, for people that have used Facebook Live, does that give you a link that you would be able to plug in? Does anyone have experience with that?
I've used that out for us.
Yeah. Well, Diane, isn't there, and again, I'm sometimes know just enough to be dangerous. I thought that Zoom, you can actually run a Zoom call and have it post on Facebook Live.
You can. Sometimes they play really well together and other times they don't. So that, for example, we've tried to stream our team meetings that way. I know James Shaw tries to do that with his pivot videos in the morning, and sometimes the technology is seamless and sometimes it isn't.
So maybe that's the way. So Amanda, maybe that's the way that you can do it. I mean, if that were to work.
Sure.
It's an option. Shelley, were you gonna chime in on that? Did you have something to share?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that we've done Facebook Live open houses, and from what I can gather, I don't really see a spot where there would be a link to put in there other than like your Facebook page or maybe like an event link. So that's where like I feel like a little disconnect on this for the Facebook Live, because it's like, man, well, how do I put it out there?
Right.
Unless you put
that's a good idea. I mean, maybe it's brand new to me to look in MLS to find these virtual open houses, but I'll kind of peruse through there and see if other people have, you know, visit my Facebook page at this time or something like that.
Right. And I want to show you guys too real quick.
Create an event or something.
Yeah, and you can create an event. And again, those are all great ideas, and maybe trying different iterations of things to see. I do want to show you, like, this was the virtual open house that I posted. And it really was like the day before, or actually it was the day of. Oh my gosh, it's so terrible. Yeah, so I did it the day of. But look at this. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
773 people reached and 72 engagements.
Nice. And that lives on, right? So people can continue looking at it.
Right. And like I said, again, in a lot of what we do, we all know is really about awareness, presence, consistency, those kinds of things. So whether people came to the open house or not, the fact of the matter is that people are aware that we're doing it. And that we're being progressive about it. And also for our sellers to, you know, let them know that we have not let this, you know, what's happening in the market stop us from continuing to try to promote and sell their homes.
Right.
So, I mean, like I said, and the other thing to remember, I hope you all know this, like when you post an open house in Zillow, it raises your listing in search, in the ranking. So a lot of times even, and we would say this, you know, some people say like, I don't believe in open houses, blah, blah, blah. And we've got some high-end luxury properties, and we definitely have some people who say that they don't want open houses, but we have always been big proponents of it. Number one, you get in the home. Number two, you know, every time you're in there, you get a better sense of really what's in that home, what it feels like, you know, what the neighborhood feels like. So that's always, you're always learning, even on listings that are yours. And then obviously the other thing is that Zillow rewards you for open houses. So it will raise your listing in ranking during that time frame. So it's a way to get another little bump for your eyeballs online.
Kathy, I want to back up for just a second. You had mentioned using landing pages in your virtual experience. Can you talk a little bit about how you do that and where that shows up?
Sure. Let me go to one of them here real quick. You can still see me. I'm sorry for all the scrolling. I'm sure you're
all set. It's all good. We can still see it.
Okay, good.
Great.
I just find it. I'm sure there's a better way to search on, someone tell me that. How to search on my Facebook page. Because this is not fun. Okay, so
there's a search bar in either the left or the right column normally.
I know, and I don't see it. And then you could search by subject.
Probably at the top or something.
Yeah. Okay. So here you go. So this is the one that we did where we had our 2 listings. So here's our landing page.
Okay.
I'm just going to click on that. Oh shoot! Nope, that's the wrong one. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Darn it. Here it is. I think this is one. We create, you know, we're kind of like, we're hybrids. You know, we still have our own website, and I create individual property pages for our website. And then we're also, in the last month or so, have started to use the Command landing pages, both. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sorry. So anyway, so here is the landing page that we created in Command. So, okay. And then what we also have, this one doesn't have, if we have a video, we don't have a video on this one, but if we have a video, we create the landing page so that we've got all the photos and obviously all that information about the property. And then we also add in the video here as well. And then obviously, oh, there it is. Sorry. Oh no, I think I dropped this one in. So we did this as a virtual tour one. Like I said, I've done a lot of like creative stuff.
Yeah, this was the one I didn't have the camera turned right.
Yes, that's right.
So it was narrow.
Yeah. So we created this graphic where it was like, we were just introducing a virtual open house. So we put that in there. But we do, like if we have like a really nice video, walkthrough video, which we do a lot of times, we have that here. So we have, and then we have our data collector. So then when people fill out the data collector, then it goes right into Command. And then they come in as a lead.
Great. Wow, you ladies have accomplished a lot in a short time. A pretty steep learning curve, but obviously it's paying off.
Like I said, it can be, you know, there's a lot of things. Things are glitchy. Things don't always work out. Sometimes I make mistakes and post the wrong link, or we have the, you know, the phone the wrong way, or we're not, you know, it's blurry. But I just feel like that you just got to be authentic and real. And I think just embrace it. And I think people are embracing kind of the humanity and the reality of the way we live our lives, that we're not all like social media used to be such like everything, and you only post like all the good stuff. So when people are sad and depressed and not doing well, like no one really knows about that. But I just feel like just being true to who you are and being real about the mistakes you're making, or being thankful. Thank you for the feedback. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. We'll get better.
Right, right. Great presence, you guys. What questions do you have for these two? Well, we still have their time. We have about 10 minutes left if anyone has any questions or observations or things they've learned.
I don't have any questions, but I did just want to thank you for your time, because this is super helpful always to look into someone else's kind of strategy. So thank you.
And those market updates, I called MLS, not even really thinking about how to get the weekly stats. And she said, just put it as a search, change the dates. And I'm like, oh, duh. Okay, I can do that.
Nice.
Yes, thank you very much. This is very, very helpful.
Well, good. Well, and if you guys start to do it, or if you're already doing it and you have any tricks of the trade as you learn, please, you know, we'd love to get that information and just continue to share. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I've got a vacant house I'm going to be trying to do this on this week, and maybe even tomorrow. So I'll let you know what happens. I really appreciate this, this help.
Do you have your landing page set up yet for that listing?
So that's in my notes. The last note I took was command landing page with video.
Okay. And they are, once you do the first one, I mean, they're super easy. There's, and I don't know if is Lindsay on the call still?
Yep, I'm on.
Okay. So I don't know, Peter.
As Mandy.
Oh, me. Sorry. Okay.
Hey, Lynn.
Hi.
I mean, maybe Peter, she could assist you in just getting your first one up and running. I mean, once you do the first one, you can actually, I think, replicate or copy them, and then you just change the listing and it auto populates. So it looks a little bit, you know, like, oh my gosh, I can never do this, but it really is pretty simple once you kind of get the hang of it. So I would suggest you do that. Like, so when you post it on social media, then you have that link to the landing page there. And so if people are interested, then they can click on the landing page and then fill out their information, and it does go directly into Command as a lead.
So coming from someone who normally tries to do something on the computer and then whose solution is hit the keys harder and then swear at the screen, Lindsay's been very helpful. If she can help me, she can help anyone.
Lindsay's so great.
Awesome. Yeah, and just so you know too, like we're still working on doing the, oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking it, the smart plans. So we started by creating the landing pages, and it was like, okay, now we got that. Now let's figure out, because we're running, like we've got 18 listings right now, and you know, there's some trickiness as, you know, whether it's the Facebook campaigns or these things where we're using landing pages or driving people into Command as leads, we're still not very great at figuring all that out. So it can get a little bit overwhelming. So we have started to look at some of those, like Jay Cermak. There's obviously people out there in the marketplace that are, you know, doing this stuff all the time and setting up those videos and webinars, and just, we watch like multiple ones and then we're like, okay, what's the one thing we want to try? You know, and trying to break it down into like palatable chunks so that we're like, okay, we don't have to do like an entire something. Let's just do one little thing that'll get us to the end goal eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And we'll be doing training on smart plans this coming Tuesday, Brad and I. So that's a great follow-up tool. Once you have the landing page out there and start getting those leads, you can start setting them up on smart plans. So that's coming for Tuesday's tech training.
Perfect. Awesome.
Kathy and Katie, thank you so much for this hour and sharing knowledge and your experience with this virtual journey we've all been on. We are recording this. It will be posted, so if people want to go back and kind of dig deeper into some of the tips that were given, and you guys have been just really great. I appreciate all that you do for our agents to help us all perform at that higher level. So.
And if anyone, I mean, we're an open book too. Like if anyone has any questions or struggling, I mean, again,
negotiate that over the phone.
To get through things. So I'm happy to help anyone else that we can get where we are. Look at Katie's on the phone.
Yeah, Katie's on the phone. That's how it works.
Go get some business, people.
And there's someone in her window too that made me a little uncomfortable. Like, oh my God, there's someone back there. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for our Coffee with a Capper experience today. We wish you a great 24 and go out there and get more listings.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.